Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link the Discord in chat. Because as much as I've had so many DGGers, I'm linking my Discord in chat. It's going to be on screen. I want some DGGers to call in. They've all been very vocal over text, but they all seem to be very meek and calm over voice. I'm rambling. I keep getting people say like, "Oh, you make no points. Oh, you're not very convincing." It's like they never explain why. They never point out a single thing that I was wrong about. They just sort of say it. I want them to come and tell me why. I want them to come and tell me why. Alright, we got this guy. I think he's a Destiny fan coming to argue. So we're gonna pull him in. See what he's got to say. I don't know what it's about. We'll see. Hello, BZRad. What have you got for me?
Yo, what's going on, my guy? Can you hear me good?
I can hear you all fine. Yep.
Hey, yeah, I'm the Brandon Cordell dude.
Oh yes, yes.
Comment yesterday, yeah.
Oh, go for it.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, what were your criticisms? Just go for it.
Yeah, so I don't really know your channel all that much. I pretty much just stumbled upon this one trying to get more info about this whole Destiny Molina divorce thing. And I was watching your video and I was like, man, you got some like harsh criticisms. And I felt like you weren't really substantiating those. It's essentially just calling him abusive and manipulative. And I was like, well, at least can you provide something? I'm not a big Destiny fan, but I do watch his streams. He brings on some pretty good debates. And so one thing I'm pretty sure a lot of Destiny fans do is, try to watch people that criticize him and give valid criticisms.
So you think I haven't substantiated that he's abusive?
Well, I feel like you've made the claim, and I do have timestamps. And this is particularly on that video. It's pretty much the only one I watched of yours. I think I watched a little bit of the other one where you were talking with the other Destiny fan. But yeah, you said some things. One, you made a lot of statements about that he lied over and over and over again, particularly only pertaining to the apartment thing, without ever going to look at the logs on that. And I was just so strange on why you don't
I corrected myself in that video. I said that it was. I did go and look at the logs in that video, and I corrected myself. I said that it was actually more ambiguous than I thought in the logs, and I don't know whether it's due to an internet game of telephone that's been played where the claim has been distorted, or if maybe Destiny did present it slightly differently somewhere else. I honestly don't know. I can't find, but it seemed like a lot of people came away with the impression that Destiny had been directly paying the rent on that apartment in Sweden. However, that was incorrect. Destiny never actually said that. So I admitted fully, I think in that video even, that I was wrong about what those logs said.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's fine, but like you admitted it like after at least 20 statements.
Sure, but you just said that I never even went to look at the logs, but I did go and fact check myself in that same video. I went and checked it and recanted the claim and said, okay, no, he didn't actually say that here.
When I was referring to that, you didn't go to check the logs is when you were making this statement. You actually went to go check it after you made the statement.
Sure, I'd already covered the logs on stream, and I was doing it from recollection, right? I'd covered it a few days before. I'd looked at the logs, and then I made the claim. I was incorrect about my recollection of what the evidence was, and I recanted it. I don't know what else. Everyone says things that are incorrect when doing it from recollection. The best you could ask for is for someone to take the L and move on, right?
Yeah, that's fair. You know what? I'll give that to you. Also, you're making a lot of statements that he's an abusive, manipulative person. You said it multiple times, and I don't know if any of those instances you gave direct views on abuse.
I think I can. So would you not agree that if you're in an argument with a partner and you tell them to kill themselves, that's abusive? Yeah,
you said this, but did Destiny make the statement?
Destiny said that he told Melina to kill herself in an argument. That is something he said.
Is that the direct quote, or can you link me something to that I can? I've never heard it.
Let's start going through.
And to be fair, depending on the degree of the argument, I mean, yeah, that's a little mean and abusive to say, but I don't know the degree of the arguments. It seems like Melina's done some of her own stuff that seems like that sparks some anger in some people, especially in the middle of a divorce.
Okay, you recognize that both were bad is not an argument against one is bad, right? If I'm responding to Destiny's video about his side of the divorce, and he's portraying it in a way that seems to be saying, because what Destiny will do is he'll go, I'm not perfect, I'm not perfect. Here's all the bad shit Melina's done. She's an abusive, manipulative person. But he will never say about himself, when he's doing that, he'll never say about himself, I did an abusive thing, I did a manipulative thing. He will always present it as, I was mean. It will never cop to the actual substantive criticism that would make him look bad during this. So when I'm responding to Destiny's side of it, obviously my criticism is going to be focused around making sure Destiny, well, not making sure, but, you know, voicing my disagreement with the way Destiny is presenting the situation. If I was watching a video of Melina talking about it and she's presenting herself as totally perfect, or trying to downplay the bad things that she might have done, then yeah, I'd be, you know, saying the same things towards her. But it's based on context and what I'm responding to.
I mean, I guess this is the viewpoint of how you're looking at abuse, I suppose. I mean, it seems like everyone has their own viewpoint on like what's abusive. I think I heard you claim in a video, in the video I was watching, or the one with the other Destiny guy, that you view cheating as an abuse. I mean, I don't really view cheating as an abuse.
Yeah, I think I would probably backtrack on that. To be honest, I think I would probably backtrack on that. I think cheating is a different thing to abuse. I think cheating is very often abusive, but I don't think it's necessarily abusive, because there are like circumstances where it's not. I think abuse has to raise to a different level. There's like, because there's little small cheating things that can happen where there's like a weird boundary, right? And I wouldn't necessarily call every accidental crossing of that to be abuse, but generally I think when you got the sort of person, if you just go and sleep with someone else when you're in a monogamous relationship, yeah, that's pretty abusive, because it's a conscious decision that inflicts a lot of trauma that, you know, it's just like so obvious. It's just such a given that it's going to be fucked up. That it's the behavior is so outside of the norm for any relationship, and so toxic. It's a
betrayal of your relationship, and usually when someone gets cheated on, they end up leaving because
abuse to me really is just things that are, you know, so that they are so bad and negative towards the other person in the relationship, and consciously done, that that it raises to a level where we say, okay, this is having like an impact on their ability to even be in the relationship, or like to have informed, almost like an informed consent view on it, where they can't, it's going to affect their decision making, right? That's the sort of thing we're talking about with abuse, isn't it? I would say.
Suppose so, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So I think cheating is one of those things. That's one of those things where it's going to cause such a damage to the relationship and to the psychology of the other person that generally it is abusive. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily. I mean, do we generally agree? Do you generally agree with my vibe on what abuse is there? Because I mean, that sounded like what your point was that you felt like I didn't quite make my feelings on abuse clear enough. But
well, in the context, it seems like you're pushing it out. I'm looking more at abuse as something that's more purposeful.
Yeah, sure. Oh, I said consciously done, right? It is a purposeful. It's always going to be a purposeful thing. I don't know if you can. The actions have to be purposeful, but I don't know that you necessarily have to be intentionally abusing, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of the times people do reactive things, right? You know.
Yeah, sometimes people do. And I would say that like I said, I haven't seen this video or this Destiny just telling Melina just kill yourself or anything like that. So I don't know the context. I don't know if it's joking. I mean, he does a lot of hyperbolic and banter and quippy things, so it could have been in that context. And he tells a lot of people to kill themselves. They're in the middle of a divorce. I mean,
I believe I'm doing this again from recollection, and we know that can be faulty. But I believe he said something roughly to the effect of, "Listen, I can be mean in arguments sometimes. You know, I might call her an F slur." I think he said it out loud though. I might call her an F slur, or I might tell her to kill herself. But you know, it's never more than that. But it's like that's the term to kill himself. That is almost like textbook abuse. I believe in almost all definitions, we look at the coercive control laws a couple of times on this stream for the UK, and on there it is explicitly stated, you know, telling partners to kill themselves, belittling, you know, that sort of stuff like that is considered abuse, because it's just so beyond the pale.
Without any context, I mean, so jokingly saying that's just abuse.
Well, no, obviously
you're taking that on as abuse.
Yeah, no, but that is what the criteria is. It does just say that on the face of it. It doesn't specify like context dependent, but obviously it is context dependent. It's going to be applied through a legal system where people are going to be, you know. The point is, obviously, yes, context matters even to the law, but that's not. I was just making the point. That's what the law states. That's the guideline.
Sure. I mean, you look, and realistically, they're in the middle of a divorce. I mean, I know Destiny's a pretty stoic, chill dude, but I mean, that's always going to take a toll, especially when you're public. My viewpoint is that like if they're in the middle of heated arguments and heated conversations, especially when mutual
Oh,
Mel has possibly done that too. It seemed kind of strange if Destiny is the only one-sided person saying mean and aggressive things to the spouse in the middle of a divorce. So I mean, but you're taking on the stance, or at least you're coming off as like you're taking on the stance that like Destiny's the one just being abusive, he's the one just being manipulative, and you're not giving any real context to the fact that they're in the middle of a divorce. He does seemingly state.
yeah, I just don't think that while I understand that being in the middle of a divorce can mean that tensions are pretty high, I don't think it's an excuse.
Well, you're applying that excuse both ways, or you're applying it one way.
Well, I'm saying, I'm sure it was both ways. Yeah, I'm sure it sounds like a very toxic relationship from everything I've seen of it. Yeah,
It's an open relationship. I don't, look, everybody's got their own toxic stuff in their relationships. I mean, it seems like
I mean, theirs sounded pretty bad. They were like continuously cheating on each other in numerous different ways. Even when you're in an open relationship and you're constantly cheating on each other, that's a fucking pretty big issue.
Yeah, that is an issue on both sides. I'm not going to negate that. I think that's a very fair point to bring up. Both sides, if we're undoubtedly doing cheating and some type of semi-aggressive things to each other. But I'm not going to just here state that Destiny's only. She's clearly doing shit.
Your connection dropped out very just for a moment there. I didn't hear a little bit of that. If you just roll that back quickly.
Yeah, I'm not just gonna be. I'm not. Well, particularly you're on YouTube, man. You're a person talking about this stuff in the zeitgeist. I would say, like, when I come to watch content like this, I'd at least like to have a double-sided viewpoint. Like, it seems like you're just coming from the one-sided viewpoint that like Destiny was the abuser, Destiny was the manipulator. When it seems like, especially since those logs came out yesterday, that it does seem like Melina has done some shit. Like, she's not faulty.
What do you mean by done some shit? What do you think was proven in the logs yesterday that Melina did that was terrible?
Oh, that clearly they had boundaries that she also didn't adhere to as well. And then from Destiny's viewpoint, he was held.
So what boundary did Destiny set that Melina didn't adhere to?
Such as letting him know that letting him know that they're gonna hang out, letting him know that he's got a key to her apartment, letting him know that.
But no. That was a boundary that Melina had set. But there are always uneven boundaries in a relationship where one partner cares about something, the other one don't. If Destiny had been expressing to her the entire relationship, I don't care what you do, I don't care what you do, and then all of a sudden he starts caring what she's doing, that's not her crossing a boundary. She was operating the way she had been most of the relationship.
So your viewpoint is completely, it's fine for her to say that you can't do these things, or I want these things to be like this way, but I'm not going to follow that at all.
It's up to the parties in the relationship to negotiate that. There's always going to be some boundaries that one partner cares about and the other one don't, and it's up to them to negotiate that. You can't just say, oh, it's a quote unquote double standard. That's not really how it works. It's not imposed on you from anywhere else. It's something that you both come to an agreement on. If they came to an agreement where Destiny didn't care about that, then that's his issue. That he should have voiced that at the time, or voiced it later on and made Melina agree to it. That's how relationships work.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that's a cope. If I'm gonna set a boundary for somebody, I'm also
gonna not cope in the slightest. That's just how
if I'm gonna tell
boundaries always work.
Do a thing, or I don't feel comfortable with you doing a thing, why in the world would someone easily think like, oh yeah, but I can do that thing? Like, do you think that's a reasonable take?
Well, if they didn't negotiate, if that's the way they negotiated it, then yeah, that's the way their relationship was. Destiny has always said on stream. Destiny's always said on stream, I don't care what my partner does; they can go do whatever the fuck they want. I assume he was saying the same stuff. I assume he was saying the same in private. So if he was making it clear that there was no boundary there to Melina, and then all of a sudden decides there is a boundary there, that's not her fault for crossing it at all.
I'm not holding to that. I think generally in relationships, if someone's going to say, I don't want you doing a thing, I'm going to take this take from most relationships. I feel like if someone's going to set a boundary and say, I don't want you doing a thing, it's somewhat mutually understood that they also don't want you you shouldn't also do that thing that you don't want someone else to do. It seems like I wouldn't say, no, like, well,
I would say generally, a lot of people would probably set their relationships up like that. They would want to. But that's not necessary, and I don't think that it's bad to have uneven standards if one partner simply doesn't care about something. So if that's the way they negotiate the relationship, it's not for you or for really Destiny to turn around and say months after the fact, months after they've set these boundaries, to turn around and say, oh, actually, this thing Melina was doing was actually crossing a boundary that wasn't set.
Well, I don't think, even in this video, I don't think he stated the fact that he let Melina even know that, but he made it known that he was kind of annoyed, like, okay, well, I can't do this thing, but you can, sure, okay, sure, whatever. I guess that's how that goes. I mean,
Yeah,
clearly,
but if you agree to it, if you agree to it, then don't end the
relationship.
relationship. If you agree to it, don't end the relationship, and that's them's the breaks. That if you're you've got to
Don't end the relationship or do end the relationship.
if you agree to the boundary and don't end the relationship, then that's just the way it is. That's the boundary you've agreed to.
I feel like that's
you've got to go. You've got to advocate for yourself. Like,
well, I feel like that's where the relationship ended up going. That he felt like Molina was doing double standard type.
well, yeah,
issues.
and that's fine. I mean, I've got no issue with him ending the relationship over it at all. But it's not for you to turn around and go, oh well, it was wrong for Molina to have this boundary.
No, I'm not saying it was wrong for her to have the boundary. I'm saying it's probably wrong to have the boundary and then have a double standard behind it.
No. So you are saying it's wrong to have the boundary because you're saying that it can't be a one-sided boundary.
A boundary is signed. A boundary is fine to establish, but then also break your own boundary for that other person's side, I don't think that's fine. I think
but Destiny didn't set that boundary with her. Destiny didn't care about having that boundary with her. He seemed to have made that clear. If we take his public statements at face value that he's an open book and he tells us everything, then it seems like he didn't set that boundary with Molina in private.
Look, I guess we're just going to have to agree to disagree on the fact that I feel like if someone established a boundary with someone else, that boundary should also be established on themselves. If I tell someone not to cheat, I don't want them to cheat.
But you can't set boundaries on other people's relationships. If people want uneven boundaries and are okay with that and agree with that, then that's up to them. It's not for you to sit there and say that it's wrong for him to do.
If he wanted an uneven boundary, sure, that'd be fine. I don't think he has to tell someone.
Okay, but he was fine with it. He was fine with it. He accepted it. He moved on. He continued the relationship. I don't know what to you can say he was annoyed about it, but that doesn't mean anything if he didn't negotiate it or end the relationship, because ultimately that's what you've got to do as a fucking adult, as a 35-year-old man.
If you're basing your premise on that's what made him manipulative and abusive, is that he just didn't tell Molina?
That's not what I said, is it? That's not what I said at all, is it? You brought up this point that it was an issue that Molina had this double standard, and I am simply responding to that. I'm simply saying it's not necessarily an issue that Molina had this double standard, because it's not for you to impose those rules on other people's relationships.
I brought up this issue that this was a double standard. I brought up the double standard issue because it's what you were alluding to. That is why he was abusive, or why he was.
How was I alluding to that? When did I do that? When did I say that this double standard issue is why he was abusive?
Because you were continuously letting people know that he cheated on her. He was continuously doing manipulative things behind their back, like lying to her.
I said they've both cheated on each other. They've both cheated on each other, I believe.
You didn't really explicitly say that they're both doing bad things behind each other's backs. You seemed like you went out of your way to make Destiny look like he was the one purposely in.
During that video, I was responding to Destiny, his statements on the thing. So yes, I was mainly focused on Destiny's actions. However, if you're asking my opinion, or if I ever talk about the situation more broadly, I'm going to say, yeah, they both seem like terrible, fucked up people.
Well, in the video, you're making statements such as saying he's disgusting, he's a manipulative abuser.
Yeah, it is pretty disgusting watching someone blow up their ex-wife to their massive fucking audience over a bunch of private shit that she never wanted public.
I mean,
yeah, I think that is pretty disgusting.
That's fair that she didn't want it public, but she's also telling, from what was said, it seems like she's also telling people in private. And
yeah, she's telling her friends she's telling her friends her side of the relationship, correct?
As well.
Okay, and this is just normal stuff you have to contend with in a breakup. It doesn't create justification for you to blow her up with your audience.
I don't know if it's just blowing up or damage control. I mean,
it is blowing up. It is blowing up. Destiny explicitly said in his first divorce stream, the only reason I would be leaking a bunch of details is to destroy her reputation, to salvage my own. He literally said those words.
He also made the case yesterday that he's trying to make sure that, he's ahead of the narrative.
Yeah, I know. This was always the way it was going to go. He was just looking for a fucking justification. This is the way it's been going since the start.
Do you think it's reasonably fair between two couples that are pretty popular and have streaming friends and influencer friends, when one side's telling a lot of those influencer or mutual influencer friends a lot of things out in private that could potentially come out and essentially damage his reputation, that he should get ahead of it and tell people?
Nope, not unless you've got a serious. Not if it's kept in private, you should keep it in private. But if you've got a serious reason to come out, like you're coming out about the fact that you feel like you were abused, which seems to be what Destiny's kind of going for a little bit, then you need to present extraordinary evidence for those extraordinary claims. And Destiny so far has not really presented any evidence for the fact that Molina was abusing him. So
why do you feel like he was abused? What do you think?
I don't feel. Destiny has been saying Molina is a manipulative abuser on stream.
Did he say that he was a manipulative abuser, or did he reference a particular thing that she did that was abusive or manipulative?
Which he said, okay, if that's the distinction you want to draw, sure, yeah. He said a bunch of stuff she did was manipulative and abusive.
That's a pretty big distinction to me. What do you mean if that's a distinction I want to draw? saying that someone is this thing in general versus saying.
Sorry, she wasn't she's not a manipulative abuser. There's just a bunch of instances of her being manipulative and her being abusive. She just does it all the time, but she's not a manipulative abuser. Sorry, there's just such a massive difference there. Dude, that's such a fucking retarded distinction.
That's not a really retarded distinction.
It is a retarded distinction. It is a retarded distinction. If someone's continually exhibiting manipulative and abusive traits, then they're a manipulative abuser.
No, he's telling a narrative how this divorce ended up becoming to what it was, and in that thing, he's mentioning things that were seemingly.
Yeah, why is that for the why is that? Yeah, okay. So why is this for public consumption? And also, he hasn't presented any evidence of her being a manipulative abuser. He has not presented any evidence.
I mean, the logs show that she was at least adhering to the fact that she was doing a double standard. She applied, in my view.
Okay, how is that manipulative or abusive to have a double standard?
What do you mean? How's that manipulative? Well, like I said, in my view, I think the fact that if you're going to tell someone to do something and you're also not going to apply that self to yourself, and kind of lie about some things, then I think that's abusive. That's how.
Okay, so you are telling people what boundaries they can and can't draw in their relationship, because you're saying that you can't have boundaries that one party cares about and the other one don't. You realize this happens in relationships like all the time. Like, okay, so what you're basically saying is that you can't have, like, cucks can't have relationships. You can't have it where, you know, the guy's okay with, like, guys flirting with the girl, but the girl's not okay with girls flirting with the guy. Like, because that's a double standard boundary that you can agree on. It's not necessarily manipulative or abusive to have a double standard boundary.
With girls flirting with guys? Are girls okay with guys flirting with girls? Are girls just okay with that?
I just said, would you not allow a cuck to have a relationship? Is any cuck relationship, is that manipulative and abusive? Because it's a double standard boundary.
I'm not saying that's okay. Oh my gosh!
You said a double standard boundary is manipulative and abusive. That is what you just told me. That is what you just told me.
A cuck relationship, though, the whole idea of the relationship is because they are both into this element of the relationship.
Okay, yes. So exactly what I said. So if one partner really cares about something, and maybe the other partner doesn't care about something so much, it's okay for them to agree that there is a double standard boundary.
If both partners are okay with a thing, that's something to agree with. If one partner is setting a boundary and the other partner's not okay, if that person also breaks that boundary, especially if it's well known and you're arguing about it.
Destiny didn't set the boundary, did he? Destiny's always said, I don't really care. So it doesn't sound like he set the boundary, does it?
Would you say having disagreements and arguments over a particular aspect, setting a boundary, or showing your distaste or dislike?
You need to either say, look, this is a boundary for me, or I'm ending the relationship. Okay. You need to negotiate and advocate for yourself. Otherwise, dude, you're treating a 35-year-old man like a 15-year-old girl. That is what you're doing. I don't think
people have to explicitly tell and go up to the partner and say, like, hey, I think this should be our boundary. If I'm clearly upset, dude, he has to be able to advocate for himself and negotiate the relationship boundaries. This is the most retarded shit I've ever heard. You're actually just treating him like a man-child. You're coddling him. No, dude, I think you feel like relationships need so much more explicit, direct viewpoints when it's
nothing about explicit or direct. It's nothing about explicit or direct. I'm saying that if he didn't set the boundary, that she's not breaking the boundary.
If I tell my partner I don't want them to go out and dance with somebody or whatever, a chick or whatever, and they don't do that, but then I go do that and we get in a fight about it, is he or they not establishing that fucking, like, hey, I also didn't want you to do that? A single fight can be an establishment of a boundary.
But it seems like he just got in. It seems like the fights just started happening with this memetics guy, right?
He's made it known that he's also showed, like, I'm not okay with this double standard, or like, this, you can do this, but I can't do this. What the fuck? Like, that's clearly saying, like, okay.
And if he wasn't okay with it, then he should have ended the relationship. If he wasn't okay with it, he should have ended the relationship. Then he should have ended the relationship. And now he has ended the relationship. So that ultimately he clearly made the right decision for himself. But the point is that you can't sit there and fucking bitch and complain that this young girl was manipulating this 35-year-old man because there was a double standard boundary in their relationship that he put up with. Like, no, dude, he has more agency than that. He's not being fucking abused by that. It's not manipulating him.
Yeah, I live in the real world, and I feel like people in relationships don't always just explicitly say a boundary. Sometimes a fight establishes a boundary, and so maybe
I think we're circling the drain here. Is there anything else?
Okay. Yeah, there's one more other thing. You were making the claim, and now I'm not completely disagreeing with this, but at the same time, I feel like it's kind of in bad taste the way that you made it, was the fact that he went to hold on. Uh, when he went to tell her to get the divorce papers, you were calling it like, you sign these right now, or it's just going to get catastrophic. I felt like your viewpoint was like he's putting her under duress. He's putting her under duress. And I was like, dude, I don't know about that. He found out that she's talking a little bit behind his back. Or no, like, hey, I need you to sign this now, or I'm going to also make things public. You also kind of inserted the fact that he was going to do it publicly. He also could have just done it privately to mutual friends. I mean,
well, no, he was talking about dropping a manifesto. That was the topic of discussion at the time.
I don't know if he explicitly said, I'm going to drop the manifesto. He said he's just going to get...
No, the topic at the time was about the dropping of the manifesto, and then he went on to say, if the divorce papers don't get signed, shit's going to get catastrophic. So it's heavily implied it's about the manifesto drop.
Could it not be he's going to drop the manifesto just to mutual friends like she was doing?
No. Destiny doesn't drop manifestos in private, I don't think.
Well, I'm saying manifesto, but it could have just been leaks. He didn't say he was going to drop the manifesto.
Okay, but that's not even substantiated by his behavior after the fact, because even after his 3-hour therapist intervention, he's still now gone on to start doing it publicly, right? Because of the stuff in private. Well, I don't think that's what he meant, given it doesn't line up with his behavior afterwards either. No, I don't think that's what he meant, actually.
I mean, it sounds like he's giving context to the issues that were arising.
No, I think he is blind. Can you explain to me, right? When Memetics didn't lie about the threat. Okay, so Destiny acknowledges that what Memetics said is technically true, that it was not a threat. Okay, and Destiny has not presented evidence that Memetics did not have his own place, did not have a job, and was living in Melina's apartment. He said. He had a key and he was there a lot. It wasn't his primary residence, it doesn't sound like. So those are the two things. So those are the two things that happened in that Heron Resilient video, right? And what was Destiny's response? What did this justify? Can you explain to me how exactly those two things justified Destiny leaking that Memetics cheated on Melina, cheated on someone with Melina, and had all these embarrassing interactions, like this restaurant where he wanted to leave, all this stuff. What was the justification for leaking any of that stuff about Memetics? What was he countering by doing that?
He was establishing the fact that, yes, something with him having particular thoughts did occur. That did happen. I wasn't just straight up lying about that. And that he's done stuff that seems and could be somewhat abusive. And I don't know how...
Okay, but neither... No, stop. First of all, the first claim he made, he was showing that he did actually say something about being suicidal. No. There is no reason...
But that wasn't in that log.
No, what I'm saying to you is that has got no bearing on the things that I just mentioned. It's got no bearing on whether he cheated on Melina. It's got no bearing on whether he cheated on his old girlfriend with Melina. And it's got no bearing on any of the interactions he had in the restaurants. That's completely irrelevant. Completely irrelevant to any of the things that Destiny leaked, okay, that I just mentioned. All right, totally irrelevant. Does not create a justification. Does not create a justification there because it's got no relevance. Destiny can justify countering narratives, but you can't justify just leaking a bunch of irrelevant shit. That's retarded.
Well, what do you want to do?
The second point you made that he wasn't abusive. I don't know that in those logs, Memetics was ever like, oh yeah, I'm perfect. I've never abused anyone. I don't think he ever said that in those logs. So I don't know how that was countering. That was countering anything that Memetics said. So I don't know. Did you try that again? How exactly were those three details justified leaking?
What do you want him to do? The log was a full chat between Mel and that Brady guy. I mean, what do you want to do? Just get snippets out of that?
What do you think? What do you think was in that log? No. Destiny just spoke these stories. He just recounted those stories.
He talked about them. He gave context to them, and he displayed the logs that showed.
No. He showed logs for. He was showing the logs for the fact that the suicide thing happened, and the fact that he had a key to the apartment, because that's what Melina admitted in those logs. Those were the main things, and he could have censored them as well. He could have censored parts.
Showed that Melina had problems with him in paying for things as well.
But Melina's got problems with Destiny as well. I don't understand what he's proving by showing they've got problems.
Problems with her paying for things.
Okay, but that's not having a job.
You want to take his jobless loser rants, not as him being jokey or doing banter. I mean, sure. You can
but the issue is that's the claim. The jobless loser shit. That's what Memetics was countering, and then Destiny comes back by showing a bunch of other shit that doesn't actually directly counter that. It's just sort of bad for Memetics.
I don't need so much context where I need Destiny to explicitly say Memetics had a job, or he did have a job, but he just had little money, or he was having some financial issues. I can read between the fucking lines. I can tell, like, oh, this guy's either not, as wealthy or has as much finance as I do, or, maybe he's struggling with
Okay,
a
so
job,
basically
or
what you're saying is Destiny can make hyperbolic misrepresentations of all the situation, but the moment Memetics
I
try
mean,
to
he
clarify,
can, he
the
does.
moment
That's how
Memetics
he's
tries to
great.
clarify or defend himself a little bit, that then creates justification for Destiny to leak even more about him. So you would just, do you realize how the paradigm you're setting up is just an infinite justification for Destiny to keep leaking, keep destroying these people's lives? You recognize
I don't
that,
know if
right?
he's just leaking. He's just substantiating the things he's saying. He's saying,
No,
well,
no, he's not. I've
I
just
made
explained to you 3 details that were completely irrelevant to any of the things that he was countering, any of the narrative that he was laying out. They were totally irrelevant. That he did not have to say those things to substantiate what his point in that moment. There was no need for it. It was purely vindictive.
Dusty's made claims that that Mel has been somewhat abused by this Tim
Okay,
guy.
when did
Dusty's
he?
made claims
Okay,
that this Tim
yeah,
guy's had the financial issues. Dusty's made claims that this Tim guy's had issues with somewhat certain types of thoughts, and he just went ahead and communicated that in
okay,
the context
dude.
of how it happened, and then
Okay,
also
okay,
relayed the logs to it.
okay.
What,
Are you good? I'm done with this now. This is going in circles.
I guess I'm sure.
Okay, okay, chat.
Peace.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep. Hello.
Great. So I want to make sure I summarize your thoughts correctly.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't think that you numbered them or laid them out, but your thought is Destiny is the one who is primarily abusive, correct?
I don't know that we have enough information to determine that, but I would say that I would place more responsibility on Destiny, given that he's a lot older, more experienced, knew that she was, she's ESL. He took her out of another country to when he met her. All these factors create a slightly higher responsibility on Destiny, I would say, but controlling taking charge of the relationship.
I agree. Do you think there's anything that he could have done that would have given her as much control in the relationship as he had then? Or any way in which for the last 5 years that he could make it seem as though, or give her the ability to be in control of the relationship and make it so it's very clear that they're on equal footing?
I'm sure he. I'm not saying he did not necessarily, or I'm not saying he didn't make any considerations for her. I'm not saying he didn't try to make it fair. I truly don't know. I haven't seen all the interactions between them. There's no way I could really identify that. But Destiny does describe himself engaging in a lot of behaviors that I would call abusive, that I would call manipulative. And as a result of that, I think it's important that he cops to that as the person who had a lot more responsibility and power going into the relationship.
Right. So whenever you're looking at it, you think that him stating the disclaimer of I can be very manipulative, I can be quite abusive.
Okay, yeah. My issue is, I'm going to just cut you off there. My issue is that he doesn't cop to calling specific behaviors he engaged in manipulative or abusive. He'll say, "I'm not perfect. I've done bad stuff," and then sometimes he'll describe a behavior and then call it mean, or he'll call it not very nice, or he'll say a little bit unhinged. He'll never admit this is something I did. This is a time where I committed an act of abuse. He never says that.
I'm wondering, so that's fair. I think that there are definitely times during which you should be calling it mean or unhinged. No, like that was abusive. You were either being abusive or you were being a cunt or whatever it is that you prefer to state. I wonder whether or not there's a reluctance to call it abusive because that could be a criminal claim or potentially give someone the idea of bringing a criminal complaint. And that would be unwise for him to do so. From the divorce and him dragging the people perspective, the only thing I think I could listen, divorce brings out the worst in everyone. It is atrocious having like worked on divorces before. And if he thinks that she is poisoning the well with potential coworkers or close friends or people that he could potentially be making money with, him coming out and then just putting out a public statement along those lines and stating all of those things is not what I would ever advise him, but it is what I would expect somebody with a lack of emotional maturity to
Okay,
do.
so what was the justification for him leaking a bunch of details about Memetic's life then?
Wait, I missed it. What about Mimetic's life? That he's a Swedish
So
person or a Swedish influencer?
that he cheated on Melina, that he cheated on his previous girlfriend with Melina, and several stories about embarrassing social situations he'd been in, such as when he asked to leave a restaurant early. What was the justification there? How did that help Destiny clear his own image?
Oh, I don't think it did. I think that was specifically to let, if Mimetics or whatever his name is, or Tim, know and is listening, I think that was specifically to let him know Melina should not be trusted either. She has told me far too many embarrassing details about you to be somebody that has your best
Okay,
interests
so
at heart.
it sounds like he was trying to hurt his ex's relationships and reputation on the way out.
I thought it was him trying to demonstrate the behavior that Melina does in every relationship,
No,
which is oversharing and
he
not
wasn't.
being
He was
trustworthy.
using that to call Mimetics an abuser. That's what he was using those stories for.
Oh, that's not abusive. That's
Well,
just being a jackass.
Yeah, so there was no real justice. So this is kind of my point, right? It just seems that Destiny's acting in a very manic, vindictive way, where he's just sort of leaking shit for no real justification, but calling it okay under this guise of someone. Oh fuck! Sorry, I just got distracted by a message. But he puts all this stuff out under the guise of countering a narrative, but none of the information, a lot of the information he's putting out doesn't actually counter any narrative. It's just all it does is seek to hurt the other people. For instance, he even said in his first divorce stream, he said the only reason I'd be dropping a bunch of details in the manifesto would be to hurt her reputation, salvage mine. He said those words. So I don't know why now we don't believe him. And now that he's leaking a bunch of details, we think, oh no, there's actually this new justification that he's just come up with for why he's leaking all this stuff. It seems like people just give endless charity and coddling to this 35-year-old man.
No, I'm not giving any charity or coddling. I think he's I don't want to say stunted, but again, I don't trust any. I think any man in their 30s seeking to date somebody with that much of a significant age difference is absolutely suspect as somebody who's also 30. So I agree with that. I'm trying to look at it, and it seemed, I don't know that any of it reaches what I would call abusive. I think it's just incredibly messy and would make me not want to touch him with a 10-foot pole.
Okay,
but I think that he's acting exactly as a 20-year-old acts when they leave a relationship.
Okay, a lot of 20-year-olds are pretty abusive, I think. But regardless, look.
Okay.
Here's a couple. But we'll just go through a couple behaviors. Okay. Do you think it is abusive to tell a partner to kill themselves during an argument?
Yes.
That is something Destiny's copped to. So that is abuse. So we do agree that at least one time Destiny has abused Melina, right?
Yes. Is it something that's done regularly with gaming? Yes, but I still think it's abusive. Yes, especially
in an argument about the relationship. Obviously, we're not talking about fucking around on Call of Duty. We're not talking about doing it, saying it as a joke when, like, say your partner drops something, you go, oh, kill yourself, just as a joke. Maybe that's an inside joke in your relationship. That there are contexts where that can be fine. But we're talking about specifically Destiny described doing it in an argument with Melina about their relationship.
Yeah, I would say that's abusive. Yes.
Yeah. So would you say, and you don't agree that reputational damage is abusive, because that's what Destiny seems to be copping to doing right now, right? Oftentimes, abusive people abusive people on their way out will try to damage the partner's reputation to create, like, the threat that they're going to lose everything if they can go through with leaving.
But Melina's already left and signed the divorce papers, correct?
Sure, but Destiny, now that she's signed the divorce papers, Destiny is inflicting reputational damage on her still.
So, to be honest, the way in which I would measure it is whether or not there actually is monetary reputational damage. I think, yes, at the surface, I agree with you. I'm not trying to dance around that. However,
okay, but sorry. Just quickly. Yeah. I don't think that's a good metric, because that's saying whether it's whether it's worked. That's not talking about whether he's trying to commit the action, right? If you're looking at the money,
whether it's worked or not makes a difference.
I don't think it does. Not to his behavior. Not to his behavior. Because if that's what he's trying to do, it doesn't matter whether it worked. He tried. That's the outcome he tried to affect, right? And we're talking about him exhibiting abusive behaviors, right?
Refresh my recollection and go over everything that I believe Destiny said about Mel or other things in terms of her being, like, manipulative or other things, and thinking about the type of, like, work or stream that she does do. So in this case, I don't know that the people who are fans of Melina give a shit enough about Destiny's opinion for it to dissuade them. Yes, it absolutely could be lies. It absolutely could be reputational damage. I suspect that there won't be any though. So to me, it's just him being a messy
I don't think that.
jackass.
No, I don't think that it has to be a lie to be abuse of reputational damage. I don't think it has to necessarily be a lie.
Oh, just the sharing of intimate dynamic details.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, to me, if I would, so I don't disagree with you, but I'm trying to not look at it just like through a legal lens, because to me, there would have to be monetary damage for it to be considered a reputational damage.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, I'm just not talking about the legality of it, though, right? I'm talking like morally, right? I'm sure a lot of this.
No, morally, I think it's very incredibly messy and toxic, and that he should not be getting married anytime soon. He needs to go figure that shit out and figure out what it is that he contributed to in terms of the death of this relationship.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like we mostly agree. I don't
know that makes so. Do you think that people have been talking about him being abusive for a long time? I've read that entire stupid Max Carson Mr. Girl paper. None of the behaviors seem to rise to meet the level of abusive. He doesn't, honestly.
You've just acknowledged that we've just gone through like 2 examples already.
I'm sorry. I'm talking outside of Mel. My mistake.
Okay, so
because I think that could be different.
Do you not think that it is kind of abusive to bring someone on okay? How about this? Do you not think it's kind of abusive to call someone a stalker and obsessed while you're sexting them in the background?
Okay. I don't want to do something that's all right. Fuck it. Is it? Yes. If that
okay, so I mean, do you see my issue here? It just feels like we're agreeing.
I do, but if that timeline coincides with let me see. So in actual stalking relationships or situations, if a person is trying to keep their stalker at bay and their stalker keeps contacting them and whatever else, and they're stating, yeah, that's fine, whatever, this person definitely stalked me, and then just trying to do what they can to keep them at bay, fucked up. I don't know that that's the case with this other person without saying their name. It brings doubt. I did watch the entirety of the thing, and it did seem that she kept dragging it up and looped quite a lot and felt the need to always clarify it, while he seemed to do his best to not ever bring it up and to dead name the topic and to make it like a blacklisted thing.
Okay. One other thing,
calling that entire period, I don't know that you can have a good relationship with your stalker after the fact, but I think calling that entire arc something that involves stalking and being locked in or being like emotionally or physically a toxic dynamic or whatever else, and then the relationship after the fact, while weird, it could happen, I guess. But yeah, continuously calling them at the same time. Like if you're texting them on Friday and you call them a stalker on Friday and then texting them, yes, that's fucked up. That's not okay.
Okay, so that you said there were no instances of abuse in the Max Carson manifesto, and now you've said there is an instance of abuse in the Max Carson manifesto.
No, I'm sorry. I said I wasn't clear on what it was that Max was trying to lay out as significant signs of abuse. Well, again, I don't know the direct timeline with this other person. I don't know when they were texting in the background or like what sort of instances or incidents, because it does seem as though for a year, excuse me, let me see if I remember this correctly. With this person, Destiny stated, we've been fine for over a year. Everything's fine, everything's cool, it's been cool for over a year, she's doing her own thing, and that's it. And they were texting during that time, sexting,
but he was still texting and sexting her like when she got with a new boyfriend, right?
I don't know that. I don't want to imply that.
I believe that's true. I would have to check, but I'm pretty sure that's true. And like Destiny's whole behavior in that entire situation is just completely insane. I don't know how anyone can make excuses for it, to be honest, because that Anna was clearly beyond fucked up. Like at that time, at least. I think she's doing a little bit better now, but she was clearly beyond fucked up. Anyone that was watching at that time knew it was beyond fucked up. But Destiny allowed that situation to continue. Did not go no contact, like, which is what the responsible thing to do is.
Yeah, no, he should have been no contact. I don't know why he wasn't. I think the lack of being able to
if you believe Destiny, if you believe Destiny, what he said to Chud when Chud spoke to him about it was, he said, "Well, she's an adult. She can do what she wants. It's okay for me to have a sexual relationship with her." He just said he was doing it for fun.
Huh.
He denied the
Okay.
defensive sexting stuff. He used that initially, but when Chud started pressing on it, he said, no, I was just doing it for fun.
Okay. Um, okay. No, I don't disagree with that. I again think re-engaging with a toxic person or a person you've declared to be toxic sends not just like mixed signals, but is again the same thing as like I don't want to asking for it, for lack of a better term. Um, does that rise to the level of being like abusive though? I don't know.
I think a continued pattern of engaging with someone that you know cannot make an informed, like lucid decision to consent to the interactions. Yeah, I think that's kind of abusive. Yeah, kind of manipulative.
Can we say has is far more emotionally invested in it than you are, as
But
opposed to
it's
like, making
not. No,
informed lucid
I
decisions?
don't think it. No, because that totally downplays it. Because her situation was she had like OCD, like limerence symptoms towards Destiny that were so severe that she literally could not stop herself going on like hours upon hours long streams talking about him, pulling her hair out. You know, the situation was beyond fucked. It's not just more emotionally invested. That was not a person that was in a position to be engaging with this person like that.
So wait, so he specifically triggered those OCD limerence things.
I'm not saying
That wasn't
he
something that just
specifically.
occurred with.
I'm not saying he specifically triggered them. I'm not saying he specifically triggered them. I'm saying he knew, he engaged in this situation, knowing all of this is going on, and was perfectly happy to continue engaging, letting it go on, knowing full well that no contact was actually the most healthy thing. And that's a form of exploitation.
Okay. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think that that definitely skirts close to the line of being abusive and exploiting, and being no selfish is probably too late of a word. I think the problem that I have with the Mel thing is it's tough to. I'm with peace and love once again. I don't even know how much of a marriage boundaries or anything else that they could have had, so I don't really know what could have been violated in order for it to be abusive. Um, Like, he didn't control her money. If she had enough money to be able to transfer him $100,000 all at once, it's not as though she was financially being controlled. She wasn't being controlled in terms of like her green card or didn't have like her avenues of exit
But you've
limited.
already acknowledged
He
that there
did
were times where Destiny's abused Mel, so I don't understand what this argument is now that there's no times where Destiny abused Mel. My point was that Destiny will not
no,
cop
I'm
to
saying
these.
that's abusive, but whenever I look at an abusive or controlling relationship, what I'm trying to evaluate are the methods in which like he either tried to control, oppress, or prevent her from moving or escaping that dynamic.
So I don't understand. But where are you disagreeing with me?
I think because Mel was financially solvent and had property, had the ability, clearly traveled freely, um, clearly didn't feel as though if she hooked up with someone or something else that that was going to cause Destiny to be violent. I would.
You really
I
should just
don't think
saying it
that
wasn't
relationship.
that it wasn't completely abusive, it wasn't the most abusive, it wasn't totally one-sided, controlling abusive relationship. That doesn't deny the fact
No, I
that there
can think
were
that there are
instances of
abusive moments in
abuse
a
that Destiny
relationship
does not take
and have a shade.
accountability for.
No, I think that there are shades of abuse in a relationship and that that dynamic is really toxic. I don't think that the entire thing as a whole is exemplary of an abusive relationship.
Okay, I don't think anyone was saying that. I don't think I ever said Destiny's relationship is the textbook definition of an abusive relationship. This guy is the domestic violence pinnacle. Like, you know, I never said anything like that. I was saying there are instances of abuse that Destiny downplays and doesn't cop to. He would never take full accountability for what he does. He will always try and downplay it and skirt, say it's mean, say it's a little bit fucked up, say it's unhinged. He will never say that's a time where I abused. But he's perfectly willing to put that label on Mel, even without presenting evidence a lot of the time.
Do you think that if somebody cops to their own bad behavior and that they downplay it because it's them, do you think that that is something that could be human, or do you think that that is a specific intentional act to downplay their
I
own
think
act?
in Destiny's case, he does it so often and is so. I expect more of him because he clearly understands what's going on. Yeah, I think it has to be intentional. I think it has to be intentional to try and keep his audience on his side, to try and manufacture this sort of idea in his audience mind that he's this beautiful, perfect victim, like he does with every relationship that's ever blown up. Destiny is always the one that is wronged, always the one that did nothing wrong. You know, this happens every single time. It happens every single time, and his audience always reacts the same way. Is always, oh, Destiny's a beautiful, perfect angel. Let's go and attack the other person. So,
no, I don't think anyone's
saying I don't think it's intentional. I think
he's
a narcissist, but yeah, that might be the case, but I don't know.
Right. I've interpreted it as he is such a passive individual that for you to actually point out specific acts for him to have done would be incredibly difficult because
but it's not. We've just done it a bunch of times. But we've just
you have. I'm sorry. I'm not laying that at your feet. I'm just trying to. You're right. I mean, I guess I do give him the benefit of the doubt because he's a little person and seems so like ooh, it's very difficult to think of him intentionally or assertively doing these things in a big way. Even though Mel was much younger, I always assumed or thought that she had far more control in the relationship than he ever did. Also, she's far more attractive than him, so that would, no offense.
I can't believe that the 19 or 20, however old she was, year old Swedish girl who spoke English second language who got shipped to America had more power or control in the relationship than the rich streamer who.
Wait, why do you keep saying English is a second? Her English has never been like particularly broken.
Yeah, her English was not good when Destiny met her. Her English was not good when Destiny met her.
Was it really not?
No, not particularly at all. Go back and watch some clips from back in that New Zealand trip, and you'll see. I think you'll see. Her English was not good.
Because I thought that they spoke.
She could get along with English. She'd get along with English. Okay. Like it wasn't like. It was very clear that she had like a lot of autism moments in their conversation as a result of her not understanding implications and tone. I think that was a big issue he even spoke about early on, that her English improved a lot as the relationship went on, and it made things a little bit easier. I think he's literally said that himself.
I never thought that her English was that bad. I will have to go back and look at that.
Don't let me misrepresent it here. I'm not saying it was crazy bad at all. She got along. But I know for a fact that Destiny has said that her English improved a lot as the relationship went on, and that initially he thinks it was a point of issue because it was creating misunderstandings in conversations.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I don't want to pull something and say that I don't want to pull like a food shops defender and say that I don't think that it's bad just because I like this person. I think that it is bad. It doesn't sound alarm bells. Maybe I do need to go look at it more closely. He just seems incredibly immature and like a chuckle fuck, and as does Mel throughout the entirety of this thing. They are both people with way too much money and not enough sense.
Sure, but when Destiny's accusing Mel of being this manipulative abuser, I feel like it's important to point out, actually, it's not just Mel as a manipulative abuser. Both these people are really fucked up doing terrible abusive things to each other. And to sit there and go, oh, it's just because he's retarded, it's like, oh, well, no, it's not. He was doing pretty fucked up stuff.
So other than saying kill yourself, and then talking about the things about memetics, like that he cheated and did all these other things, which I thought he shared to demonstrate that, hey, Tim, whatever your name is, Mel has shared all these things with me. So if you think that you were the only one that has an insider's playbook, you are incorrect because she's not keeping any boundaries or any secrets for you. But to you, that's still an inappropriate share of information.
That is just that is literally just trying to sever Mel's new relationship. That is just trying to get in between them. That is all that is.
Okay. I mean, I can't disagree with that.
Because Destiny even has criticized Kelly Jean, I believe, for there was an incident where she went to her abusive ex's house to warn his new girlfriend. And Destiny criticized her for that, but this seems to be what you're describing is essentially the same behavior.
Oh, wait. I get.
He said there was other parts of that situation that were also a bit weird. I think Kelly Jean blocked the door or something, and there was like weird stuff there. But Destiny's. But I do remember I believe he said it's crazy to even go and try and warn your ex about a new partner. Like, what are you even trying to achieve?
It is. You shouldn't be doing that at all. So
yeah.
Destiny, has he ever spoke? So was he reaching out to Tim, or do you think in general him
Well, no,
saying
but what
all
you've
of that
but what
out
you've
loud
you said
is
he was doing this publicly to warn Tim, so it was directed at Tim either way. I don't think it matters whether he did it in private or public. In fact, it's even worse to do it in public, I would say, because you're creating a bunch of collateral damage.
okay? And you don't think that he did enough to provide Mel any grace or any wiggle room and or acknowledge. So if he does acknowledge any of his flaws, it's not enough. And it's certainly with too much grace. And if he does talk about any wrongdoings or or Mel even just acting like a 24-year-old and being selfish or whatever else, it's not given any grace.
Yeah, he'll make comments like, I'm kind of manipulative, I'm kind of abusive, and that sort of acts as a shield. But then whenever you bring up a specific action, someone brings up a specific action, says that is abuse. You abuse this person, and that is abuse. It's always denial. It's no, it's just me. No, it's just me. No, it's just me. And downplaying. Oh, he's just retarded. This 35-year-old man just doesn't know what he's doing. You know, it's always just excuses on each individual claim. So he'll never actually be pinned on any individual thing. But he can sort of like present this air of, oh no, I acknowledge my faults. I acknowledge my faults. It's like, no, you don't. You don't ever acknowledge a thing you've done wrong. You just say, oh well, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. That's not taking accountability for anything.
Right, because he's not taking responsibility for the specific acts
Yeah.
or behaviors. Okay. So it would be better for him to either say nothing at all and completely deny it, or be very specific about the behaviors and incidences, so that way it demonstrates that he actually knows what it is that's abusive. Would that be
preferably
more
not
honest
completely
about it?
deny, preferably not completely deny the things that he's done. I would say, yeah, the second one more so, but yeah. But if he was going to do it, the thing is that the way he goes about it feels very manipulative, because he sort of tries to play both sides, right? Where he's like, I'm not perfect, but also, no, you can't prove I've done anything wrong. That's my big issue.
Because everything's been so public, or because he speaks about everything and shares
no, because he doesn't speak about and share everything, and he's still lying now about the Lauren Southern stuff. Even though that, you know, leaked in the TC Brady logs, he's still lying about it. So
wait, I'm also confused about that. How is he lying about that if he's not giving like specific information about that? Is that not him being better by not?
No. He is lying, because he showed in the TC Brady logs that Melina was upset about his affair with Lauren Southern. It said the LS thing in there, but now he is playing it as Melina was upset because we were streaming together too much, even though we know that he was going and visiting her in Canada and all this sort of shit. And counterpoints, and did someone else confirm it? Other people have confirmed it from behind the scenes.
Okay, and that was an actual factual affair, not just.
I mean, counterpoints was Lauren's security guard, and he has confirmed that there was an emotional affair that Melina got too much of an issue with. In Mr. Girl's report, it said there was another woman around the time that the Lauren Southern breakup happened that he had a big affair with, that Melina was too upset about and didn't know the full extent of. But yeah, there was and you know, that's just everyone knows this is a known fact. That's all I'll say. It's true. That's what I'm going to say to you.
No, that's
it's
fine.
True.
I'm not saying that you're not.
Yeah. But I just want, just to make clear. But now he is playing the cope of it. So he's not completely open about everything. The side that is completely open about everything. This is a total shield. It's just a play, because then people can say, oh well, he's totally open about anything, and there's never been anything he's ever done wrong. So how can you make a criticism of him? It's like, well, no, there are things he's done wrong, and there are things he's not open about. And that seems to be what you were saying. Is you were saying, oh, you can't come in because everything's so open. But it's like, no, that's not the case at all. There's plenty of stuff he's done wrong in the open. There's plenty of stuff he's done wrong behind the scenes that he lies about.
Is the story that he gave about what happened with him and Mel incredibly different from what Mel has been stating? Like, is Mel coming up with a completely different story of how
here's my issue.
Did other things? I want to make sure that I don't just have like one.
My issue with that is that Melina has said from the start she doesn't want her relationship aired out in public, and there's a big, obviously crushing pressure of DGG that can come down on you. So the idea that we have to take Destiny's word because Mel's not contesting it. I don't like that at all. That's basically saying, like, as long as Mel doesn't speak, Destiny has free reign to make whatever claims he likes. I think Destiny, if he's going to make claims about stuff Melina does, okay, go for it then. Say what you're saying then. Just re-clarify to me.
No, to clear again, Mel should have every right to come out and say whatever it is that she wants if she so chooses to. That's also her choice. Looking at it from, if he's looking at this from a monetary perspective, and Mel is telling every one of his potential coworkers or collaborating partners without it being quote unquote public about the messy relationship or asking people to cut him off or other things, what would have been a better tact? Would it have been better for him to try and do a private document explaining everything to potential people, or letting them come up?
If you've got, listen, this is a thing that's going to happen in breakups all the time, is you'll have mutual friends and there's going to be two different perspectives on the relationship. They're both probably going to end up hearing both of them, and you know, there may be cases where someone feels like they have to choose a side, whether it's due to a personal ethical choice or because they feel like they're being given an ultimatum from one side, or whatever it may be. But these are all issues that you have to navigate in relationships, and I don't see that simply because those issues are coming up, that means that it's suddenly justified for Destiny to go crazy public with it and start blowing her up. These are like normal things that you should, as an adult, be able to handle in private.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm trying to wrap my head around maybe if there's I want to say the rules are different. If maybe in a creator space where you have to do everything publicly online and you are with another online creator,
you don't have to do everything publicly.
That much?
You don't have to do everything publicly. And Melina wasn't doing everything publicly. Melina was making a concerted effort to keep everything private. But Destiny has chosen to continue pushing the escalation to public dispute. It's just like, so it creates everything. It makes everything so much more damaging than it needs to be.
Right. My question is, how private can something like that be if you are talking to all of your mutuals who may or may not make content out of what it is that you have told them?
Okay. Well, when that happens, then you can engage with that. But until someone makes it public, then no, it's not justified. Because until then, it's still just a private matter that is being handled privately. If that is the boundary that Melina wanted, then I think the right thing to do is to respect that, because it's like a pretty big thing. Like fucking with someone, destroying someone's reputation on the way out of a divorce is just like this is such fucked up behavior. I don't know.
No, it is fucked up behavior. And that unfortunately happens quite often. So again, I'm not saying that any of this isn't bad. I guess if I seem way more detached, I'm more used to it because I see it a lot whenever I work in that space or work like with people trying to do divorce. The thing I'm thinking of is if you told a group of 50 public content creators and they all had this 6-point thing of everything that Destiny has done, and one of them reaches out and says, Melina told me these 6 things that you have done. Is it justified? The question is whether it is justified for him to go forward, debunk, or try and combat those 6 things in order to address to that group of 50 public content creators, or is making a public statement and letting that be the only statement that you make about it more appropriate?
No, I don't. I just don't. I don't. I think that if you agree, I just think that making things public without a public justification, it is just wrong in a relationship, especially between content creators. I think it's fucked up. And
was the Keffels thing, the Keffels manifesto, was that justified to you?
Yes. They weren't in a relationship. Right. There's different rules if you're not in a relationship with someone, obviously.
What about the Bob 7 manifesto thing?
I don't know. I'm honestly, I back then I was like a Destiny fan. And I think I agreed with what was going on there, but I've honestly considered going back and looking back over it because I don't remember the details, and I don't know if I'd have a different perspective now, so I wouldn't want to speak on that.
Has Destiny done this? But has Destiny nuked a bridge or burned a bridge in such a way that it is, other than Mr. Girl, when Mr. Girl was like going around and doing those things, Hassan and Vash, or whatever his name is, are still the #1 and #2 political streamers. So it's not as though he's had any reputational damage. But to you, it's the ethical and moral thing of, even if he hadn't damaged
I'm not even that worked up about any way that you might have treated Hassan and Vash at all, because these were content creator relationships. It's fucking life. Like, I think it's totally different. If someone wants to dispute absolute absolute vitriolic shit at another content creator that's just they have a business relationship with, I actually just I could not care less about that. But when you start talking about friends, people you've got sexual relationships with, people you're married to, then there's a higher level of responsibility and care that you have to take with people.
I agree. I think the problem is excuse me. My problem is I just look at them as being content creators who are public and forget the married aspect. So I don't think you're wrong. I think you're right. Because she's a public person and not a private person, I think that there are no protections for her. But maybe there should be, because just because they're married doesn't mean, and that she happens to be public, doesn't make it appropriate. Maybe I do need to revisit it then. Because it seemed like a mudslinging thing that they were both engaged in equally, and it was like a race to the bottom equally between them, like wearing a mimetic sweatshirt or going on and talking or being on a stream where that guy's like sitting on a lap. But I don't know. I don't know how I would react to any of those. Being toxic, absolutely. But maybe I do need to revisit it. I definitely agree that it's toxic that he's displayed abusive patterns, at least with Melina and definitely with the other person. But does that as a whole make it abusive? I don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think we generally
maybe I can't defend
agree.
it. All right. Okay. Thanks.
All right. Catch you later. Thanks for coming. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Hello.
Okay. All right.
All right.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You know, there's a fucking Christmas sweater party going on.
Okay, cool.
But
That's
okay,
swag.
so I got a couple. Yeah, I got my sick ass anime sweater on. Okay. I got some things that I had disagreements with. First, the suicide threat thing, which I agree with you that it wasn't technically a suicide threat. Like, he didn't say, if you don't break up with them, I'm going to kill myself.
Okay.
But in essence, I think that was pretty much what happened.
Okay.
Also, I just want to say I haven't watched anything that you have done today. I just watched it.
I'll respond to that then.
Okay.
So I pretty much agree with you. I would say you don't know that that's what it was, but we can make a reasonable judgment that that's roughly what the situation was. However, yeah. my criticism around that with Destiny, what it is that Destiny said it was a threat, and then Memetics came out and said it wasn't a threat. Now, Destiny admits Memetics is technically correct there, so I don't understand why that then justifies Destiny leaking even more stuff that isn't related to this situation. I could understand him just saying, like, this was the situation that made me call it a threat, explaining the situation that happened. But then he goes on to leak a bunch of stuff about Memetics cheating on people, about Memetics having like these embarrassing social situations where he's like asking to leave a restaurant early, stuff like that. All this other random stuff that doesn't seem to be relevant to clearing the air on that.
I think the restaurant thing, I think he said that because he was trying to show like that he was like trying to isolate Mel in some way.
But he doesn't show any evidence for it though. So you're just supposed to take him at his word on that? I'm sure Memetics will have a totally different interpretation of what happened.
Yeah, no, you can argue that. But I think
this sort of steps into another criticism of mine, which is that if Destiny's going to call him abusive, he needs to bring receipts to show that he is abusive. Because this would be my criticism if I saw a twit longer from a woman as well, like saying like, "Oh, X streamer is abusive" or whatever. I'd say, well, we got to see some receipts. I don't think it should be any different for Destiny.
I agree. I would want to see receipts of like how he knows about the dinner shit. I would definitely say that the message between the DGGer of the year, apparently, fucking JC whatever.
Oh, TC Brady.
Yeah, TC Brady. That's it.
Those tweets are so gay. Those tweets are so fucking gay.
Okay, that tweet was pretty fucking funny.
It's like mildly amusing until you realize that he was friends with this girl for like 3 or 4 years, and then just turned on her because Streamer Man said.
Oh yeah, like that was a pretty scummy thing to do, especially if he was doing it, like to expose this. If he was like you know, fuck this bitch 6 months ago, but kept being, fake. But the tweet was still pretty funny. Like, it was scummy as fuck. I think those receipts, though, definitely showed that this guy is, like, willing to, like, use pretty abusive tactics, like giving...
Well, Melina said that there were a few instances where he had been abusive, but Melina was saying that this wasn't really going on anymore, and that he was improving every day, and that he was much better friends with her family and friends now. So, Destiny outing this, he's not stopping any harm from happening. It doesn't seem like, at least by Melina's testimony. I'll say at least by Melina's testimony, he's not stopping any harm by doing it. It's purely just to attack this guy, to tear down his character, make him look bad.
I will agree that he probably is triggered as fuck and wants to fuck this guy up. But also the guy went and talked to fucking what's his name? The fucking black dude.
Well, I don't know what black dude we're talking about. You might have to fill me in here.
Henry.
Oh, you're right, yeah. But he didn't say anything. I don't think he said anything wrong in those DMs, did he?
No, but he said like, oh, he's lying about. I don't remember exactly the messages. Fuck, I didn't really watch that today.
Like you can say like this is the thing is I can grant you that like there might be some stuff that was justified for Destiny to leak based on those DMs just to get his side of like why he thought certain things out, or to contest like the narrative a little bit that Memetics was putting forward, because Memetics wasn't quite clear with Henry. He said I didn't threaten suicide. I feel like it would be important to clarify the truth of what actually happened, otherwise it does feel like he's also misrepresenting. So I don't really have an issue with Destiny leaking that situations, for example, but it's all the other stuff. He's then used this to justify like the whole manifesto treatment basically on both Melina and Memetics.
Well, So I kind of want to ask you this. Do you think it's like incredibly unreasonable if she is going around to an unknown amount of people saying that she never wants to see him, he's abusive, like...
Yeah, I think so. So I think that
like,
your partner...
What is their people to go out and do that?
Your partner talking to mutual friends about her narrative of a relationship is a pretty normal thing that happens in a lot of breakups that you have to kind of contend with as an adult. And if it's happening in private, I don't see the justification for making it all public and blowing her up.
I mean,
and Destiny, I'll add. Destiny even said in his first divorce stream. The only reason I would be bringing out a manifesto is to damage her reputation, salvage mine, and that's not the sort of reason I want to hear to justify.
Yeah, but he also said that in yesterday's video or yesterday's stream that the reason he was bringing this stuff up because if nobody had came out saying he was lying, then he wouldn't have to like pull out receipts to prove it.
But he doesn't have to. He's not just proving that he's not lying. He's talking about a bunch of other stuff as well.
He probably did. Yeah, he probably did. And I think, because look, I'm like you. I love the drums. Okay. He should have just fucking sent all the receipts he fucking had.
Yeah, this playing the middle ground shit. That this is, I fucking hate this. It's either he's got to shut the fuck up about it, or he's got to go the full way, because you can't play both sides on this, because all you're doing is leveling unsubstantiated allegations against this guy. That like some of the worst things you can say about someone, like manipulative abuser who is controlling this woman. Yeah, and now there's these DM leaks where people are basically trying to paint him as a pedophile. If you've seen this,
no, I haven't seen much of the stuff that came out today.
Just today, you might find this amusing. So there's DMs here of Memetics talking to an old friend who has just leaked these from 2019. where he says, "Low key, some of the girls are hot. My mind stops me. Then I realize you and blank are like 1 year older than the seniors, and I yeet myself out of there, go in the school bathrooms and bust a nut." But that was a bit too young. I'm not trying to catch a case, okay? I work in a high school. So this is like kind of just funny, and stuff that Destiny has basically said about, you know, young girls at conventions back in the day on Skype. So I don't. But so now seeing like the way that the DGG sort of community is operating, where it's just now it is full send. Just how can we smear this guy in as many different ways as possible, not caring about consistency or like actually having a justification for it. It's pretty clear what the dynamic is here. Destiny's built up a justification for fucking with this guy, and it's just weaponizing his community. That's all I can see here. It's not about clearing the record. It's just about making this guy look as bad as fucking possible.
Well, is Destiny going out and saying? Did he go out today and say, "Well, oh yeah, this guy's a fucking pedophile for this shit"?
No, but I'm saying about the dynamic. I'm saying Destiny has built up the conditions over the last week or so, slowly leaking more and more information, being like, "Oh, this guy's an abuser, this guy's a manipulator, suicide riz, you know, all this shit." And it's built up the conditions now where DGG is just a complete fever pitch and fucking hates this guy, and they're gonna say anything they can to make him look bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's a critique of any internet community, though.
Sure, but there are things you can do to curtail it, and Destiny himself has spoken a lot about the responsibility of content creators to not stoke their audience into a massive fucking hate campaign. Yet he doesn't seem to take his own advice when it's about his ex-wife. Like,
well, I thought I had heard that he was like not allowing any sort of like full-on hate threads about Melina.
yeah, I believe he did say that at one point. I don't know if that's still the case because we looked at some.
Yeah, I have not checked.
We looked at a couple of threads at the end of last night's stream, and there were a few calling her, you know, a manipulative abuser who didn't know how good she had it and all that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, no, that's pretty crazy. Those should probably be deleted based on what he said, or at least like the fucking moderator should be fucking curtailing the shit out of that. Yeah, there are fucking unhinged people in DGG. But I don't know if, like, I would say that he's weaponizing.
Well, I mean, the alternative is to say that he's, like, clueless as to what's going on. Like, that he's just stumbling through this, and I just don't believe that about Destiny. Because either he's doing this intentionally and knowingly, or he's just stumbling through it and being retarded, and I don't think he's that kind of guy as much as I may dislike him.
Yeah, no, I was surprised when I was listening today and I heard that you fucking were like a avid Destiny watcher before.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching him since I was quite young.
But yeah, you know, I can critique him on that. I had some other points if you wanted to talk more about it.
Yeah, go for it.
Let me see. I've watched you like a little bit. You're a funny guy. You fucking cover drama. Drama's always fucking good. But I didn't take you as a guy that would want like this stuff to get taken to court.
I don't like internet stuff getting taken to court, but when it comes to this is like a divorce issue. This is an interpersonal sort of thing. I think if Melina feels like she's got a case, then I would love to see it. If only because we would probably get a discovery, right? And
more evidence
to see everything that happened for ourselves. So I mean, I would probably be like, you know, fuck it, yeah, I would like to see this go to court because at this point, I think we just need everything brought out into the open because there's so much just feels like spin on both sides of it, and it is more content. Ultimately, like Quill is saying in chat now.
Yeah,
I'm self-interested in that way.
So, also, in your opinion, do you think Melina is like just a retarded 24-year-old who, like, just has no clue about what's going on?
No, I think women play dumb a lot. But also I do think Melina isn't. She's obviously more retarded than Destiny, I imagine. And she was certainly more retarded when the relationship started.
Yeah. Yeah, being way younger. Because it now I don't fully agree that like she's this master manipulator, you know, uh, like fucking pulling Destiny's strings and yeah, I think that's a bit of a stretch, but definitely her when after the like after he like nuked all that shit and was like, signing like fucking divorce papers, sent, boom. That or I don't know if this was before the divorce papers, where she came to him and was like, "Oh, uh, I don't like, I just want to know where you're at because this 2 weeks ago you sent me this message." Um, it felt like she was like trying to get some level of freedom, probably because she just got bored, and so I'm needing somebody to you know not worship her. I wouldn't say that, but to allocate more time to her.
Yep.
Um, and now like money shit is like getting involved because I don't think she's poor. I'm pretty sure I don't follow her career. I've never watched any of her streams, but I thought I had the idea that she like made a decent amount of money.
Yeah, I think so.
More than Destiny before he started doing all the like like red pill shit. Um,
I'm not sure. I
yeah.
think I may remember something like that being said. I'm really not sure. I can't remember.
Um, so it did feel kind of weird. Like she obviously had to have known that like this shit was done. Um, I think Destiny was getting messages that or I don't know if he was getting messages from other people or if she was messaging this. That she like didn't want the divorce. She just wanted a break. Um, which I would say sounds like a whole bunch of bullshit. Like that sounds like kind of manipulative, not like evil level manipulative.
It's hard to
Um,
tell because it could be that way, or it could literally be that she's getting like cold feet and regret and like sort of backtracking on it. It's like there's, and we also didn't see those DMs. It's just assertions by Destiny. So we
yeah,
like,
and
it's so hard to draw any real conclusion there. Like this is why I say like I hate the fact that Destiny is just throwing stuff out there without while
yeah,
only backing up like small parts of it, because it almost creates this impression that he is bringing receipts, but almost everything he said he hasn't. And
there is a lot.
well, I don't want to go full nuclear. They can contest it if they want, and then we can do it. But it's just like this is just him trying to play optics like a little bit. When really, if he's going to make these claims,
I also wonder, because I think he does care about Melina. He doesn't want to hurt her career or any of that stuff. I kind of thought, now this is just speculation, it could be totally false, but that so if he were to like release stuff, it would like fuck her over. Now that could be totally wrong, but that was just one.
well, I mean, that's an idea.
Yeah,
But
it's just
yeah,
an,
I don't
there's
know.
no.
We can't redraw anything from it.
Um, trying to remember if there was anything else. Is there anything that I think that was about it. That was
Okay.
about all.
Well,
Saying,
thanks for coming and talking.
yeah, bro. Good
Yeah.
talking to you.
Yep,
And if
catch you
I
later.
disagree with you on any of the other shit, if you want, I'll come back on.
Yep,
Fucking,
no problem.
and maybe
Anytime.
we can do each other next time. That sounds fun.
Yep, no problem. I'll catch you later.
All right, catch you later, bro.
Okay, cool. Hello.
Hey, buddy. So I'm curious, what is like your actual issue with Destiny's actions apart from like putting forth all the stuff?
What? In what sense do you mean? Which actions am I criticizing as abusive? Which ones am I saying are bad in terms of the way he's handled the situation publicly? What? There's a few different. It feels a bit too open.
Yeah, sorry guys. Like it is from like it's a fucking like Bluetooth microphone. I apologize. But that being said, I just don't understand a bit of the like emotional aspect, I guess, would be the first part.
Okay, what do you mean?
So you're saying he's abusing her emotionally by putting forth the stuff, or are you saying that he was abusive prior?
No, but I'm saying that. Well, I'm saying that there are instances of abuse prior that he is admitted to. The behaviours he's admitted to the behaviours. He hasn't labelled them abusive. But for instance, one would be telling her to kill herself in an argument. I would say that is definitionally abusive. And then also in terms of the public stuff, I think that the reputational damage without a justification that focuses around protecting himself. All he's doing, it's focused around attacking her and attacking memetics. I think that is wrong. That becomes abusive because you're not doing it as a thing to clear your own record. It's purely as a punishment or act of vindictiveness towards the other people. So those are two things I would point to.
Well, I actually agree with nearly everything you've said. Wait, am I allowed to say slurs just because of the mic?
No. I don't say slurs.
Okay, fair enough. I think we agree on most everything.
Okay.
Along fronts. Dude, reading chat is actually kind of fun.
Hey, usually don't read chat is the advice, especially if it's you don't go on streams very often.
I've never been on a stream before, so this is kind of... Yes, I am goofy. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, maybe...
Did you have anything else?
Well, I think if we look at some of the Molina actions, they are kind of like blatantly abusive. Like
I don't disagree that Molina was also probably abusive. Yeah. I mean, Destiny hasn't provided a lot of receipts for a lot of things he's been claiming, but most of it's probably uncontested, and there are almost certainly things that I'm sure Molina would cop to doing that I would probably label abusive, yeah.
I feel like the real victim here is the meme ticks guy, right?
Well,
I mean,
yeah, probably. Because, I mean, you know, whatever way you look at it, he's clearly, even if you want to say he's manipulative, he's clearly a little bit fucked in the head from what we know of him, and now Destiny's essentially just coming down on him super hard for getting in a relationship with his wife. And I mean, that does seem kind of funny, especially given there's so little receipts that are actually being given.
I mean, but just studying like his especially when we see him appear in chat and he's deliciously naive to what like the sociopathy of these people are, you know?
Yeah, he doesn't seem to quite recognize what Destiny's usually like. I'd agree. Or maybe he does to an extent, I don't know. But anyways, is there any other points of disagreement? Otherwise, I'll probably just get back into normal content.
Probably not.
Okay.
But anyways.
Oh, thanks for coming on anyway.
It was a good, very nervous step into talking on a stream.
So good. Everyone is like that the first time. I remember the first time I went on Chad's stream, so.
Alright, anyways, have a good night.
Catch you later. No, guys, don't tell people not to call in again. We want callers. We want callers, okay? I will say, I am still undefeated. Saying. We've got a perfect record right now.